Tabatha.
I am confident that there is not a person in this room that is not aware of the term genocide. Genocide is the deliberate and systematic destruction in whole or in part of an ethnic, racial, religious, or national group. Some specific examples of genocide are the Holocaust or the Rwandan genocide. Today I'm going to talk about genocide that is still happening today in Darfur, Sudan. The three speeches that I'm going to discuss with you today were given in hopes to inform the public of what is happening in Darfur and to seek aid for the refugees. The first speech was given by President George W. Bush on April 18, 2007 at the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. The second was given by Tone Keown, the Emergency Coordinator for Doctors Without Borders, and the last was given by Dr. Natalie Savet, Head of Mission in Sudan for Doctors Without Borders. The first speech was given by George W. Bush. I remember this because it was 2 days after the birth of my daughter, and I was still in the hospital when he gave the speech. All three of the people had the same basic ideas. It was the violence against the civilians in Darfur, the inadequate relief response, and the obstacles to humanitarian access. George W. Bush talked about the violence against civilians, and this is a quote. Since 2003, a conflict has been raging in Darfur between the government of Sudan and the rebel groups of the Sudan Liberation Army and the Justice and Equality Movement. Extreme violence has been perpetrated against the civilian population. 2 million people have been displaced and over 200,000 people have been killed. The Janjaweed militias, backed by the government, have brutally attacked and chased people from their homes. Villages have been bombarded, burned, and emptied, and people have been slaughtered. The next speech was by Tone Keown, and I'm going to read a quote that he said in his speech. Despite the enormous needs, the UN agencies and humanitarian organizations have been slow to respond. In short, a massive relief effort is urgently needed to provide food, medical, shelter, and other basic commodities, water, and sanitation facilities. The civilian population of Darfur is living in a climate of terror, the victims of widespread violence and abuse committed by the Janjaweed militia. This must stop immediately. The last speech that I critiqued was by Dr. Natalie Savet, and I'm going to use a quote that she used in her speech. Why have these basic and obvious needs so far been left unmet? The government is implementing a policy intended to drastically limit the ability of humanitarian organizations to freely and independently assess the needs of the displaced population and implement assistance programs in Darfur. Basically, the things that are happening over there are people are being killed, villages are being wiped out, children are being kidnapped and used to fight in the militia. People don't know where their kids are. Most of the men are being killed. Their wives are being raped. It's just, you wouldn't believe the things that are happening over there. People are starving, as you can see in this picture here. And basically, what is happening, the obstacles to humanitarian access is the Sudan government is making it hard for relief workers to obtain visas. The short amount that it would normally take, they're stretching it out so volunteers can't get over there to help the people that need it. They're putting restrictions on the flow of assets and goods, like food and medical supplies. So basically, if people donate over there or the cargo that's going over to help the people, the Janjaweed militia and the Sudan government is not making it where it can get to the refugees in the refugee camps. The last thing that is happening is the Janjaweed are attacking and looting the refugee camps themselves. So there's millions of people that lost their home, lost their entire village. They have nowhere to go, and where they're living they're just continuously being victimized. It's really sickening. Genocide is still happening today in Darfur, Sudan. Millions of people have been killed or misplaced. I have informed you of 3 speeches, all regarding the need for humanitarian aid in Darfur. The first was from President Bush, that was given on April 18th, 2007 at the Holocaust Memorial Museum. The second was from Tong Hyon, the emergency coordinator for Doctors Without Borders. And the last was given by Dr. Natalie Savet, head of the mission in Sudan for Doctors Without Borders. The couple of minutes that I have had to speak to you on this situation is minuscule in contrast to what needs to be told. I just hope the next time that you take your life and the freedom that comes with it for granted, you will think of people suffering in Darfur and realize how blessed you truly are. Yeah.